Paul Foster-Bill.
I move that the question be now put.
No, this is a major bill and it really only has one substantive part. I'm not prepared to take it. Gareth Hughes.
Chair, kia ora, ngā mihi nui, kia koutou, kia ora.
Greetings to you, Mr. Speaker, and everyone else.
Part 1's Clause 6, which basically gives the Minister the oversight over university councils. It takes over what the government did in 2009 with the ITP sector and Polytechs. Mr. Speaker, what the Green Party cares about is quality education. What we care about is making sure students have a voice and representation around the governance tables at our university, which Clause 6 disestablishes in favour of the Minister deciding who's going to be on there. Because, Mr. Speaker, what we want to see is a good student voice coming through to the top levels of a university, because ultimately this is what our universities are for. They're not just businesses, they're not just corporations. In fact, they're there to educate, to inspire, to grow the New Zealand economy with trades, enterprise and academic skills. Mr. Speaker, we face a challenging and new time for our university sector. I think now is a critical time to have student voices, staff voices, other representatives around that table to make sure our universities are planning for the future. That's exactly what the regulatory impact assessment said. And when you look at all the challenges the universities are facing in that report, I don't know why you wouldn't want students around that table to provide their insight, their advice. Now, Mr. Speaker, obviously it's an incredibly unpopular change. Of the more than 1,000 submissions, 474 were opposed to this in particular. Only five people thought this was a good idea. So I invite the Minister to exactly explain the rationale. Why are we doing this? Because the submitters raised numerous concerns around institutional autonomy, our international rankings, which actually measure institutional autonomy, why it was beneficial to get rid of student and staff voices, how are we going to make sure diversity is actually represented there, and where is the evidence for smaller university councils without those guaranteed representatives' roles? What's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Where's the harm they're trying to address through this legislative change? And I'd like the Minister to actually answer the question, which is why do we need smaller councils? Because when you look at the corporate evidence in New Zealand, in fact the corporate evidence of New Zealand and Australian businesses show larger councils or boards actually have better financial performance than smaller ones. So if this is simply around a corporate argument for efficiency, I ask the Minister to look at the evidence which is portrayed. Now, if there is an issue, as there was in the ITP sector in 2009, what is it? Where's the financial mismanagement? Where's the harm they're trying to address? And where's the international example? Because when you look around the world, you've got MIT, they've got 70 people on their council. Cambridge has got 30. Now, Mr. Speaker, this is why I've put in supplementary order paper number 24 to address 3 issues. The first is getting rid of Clause 6 by repealing it. This ideological, flawed approach to university governance, which gets rid of staff and students' voices, should not proceed. There's no evidence. There's no support from the public, and there's no good reason why this should go ahead. The second part of the supplementary order paper would ensure that tertiary institutions accurately represent the demographics of their constituents and their support staffs. By repealing Clause 6, I essentially am proposing we return to the status quo, but I think we can do better when it comes to reporting and monitoring diversity. The last part of this supplementary order paper would limit the length of term of ministerial appointments from 4 to 2 years. Mr. Speaker, there is a place, an appropriate place for ministerial appointments, not in the dominant position of up to 40%, which is what this legislation would achieve. Because, Mr. Speaker, what I want to see is university councils representing their students, their staff, actively planning for the future, addressing those challenges because they've got the best advice. The advice of not just customers, as I imagine some national members may view them, but the students, the life and soul of a university, what they're actually there for. Because what I don't want to see is university councils which look more and more like Minister Stephen Joyce, that look more and more like the government's view. I think we should make sure we ensure the diversity, transparency is ensured in our university councils. Kia ora.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, this bill is what it is. a razor that takes another slice